Aloha, and we're back again. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz, joining you from eTurbo News in Honolulu. And with me today is Mr. Fabio Carboni. He's actually right now in the UK, but he is from the Islamic Republic of Iran, and he's affiliated with the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism. And those that have been watching us for a while, you've seen we've hosted a number of events for IIPT. We will host another one. But let's talk a little bit about Iran. People don't really know very much, specifically here in North America, about what is Iran tourism all about. Why should you go to Iran? Is it safe to go to Iran? Is it a peaceful country? What do you think, Fabio?
Hi, hello everyone. Hello, Jürgen. It's great to be with you. Thanks a lot for this space. First of all, absolutely, it is safe. But let me just correct part of your introduction. I'm Italian. My name is Fabio Carboni. I'm Italian, but I'm a special envoy for Iran of the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism. And in Iran, I founded in 2018 the Iran chapter of the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism. Now, back to your question, is it safe to travel to Iran? Well, it's not only safe, but it's a wonderful experience because Iran, the Middle East in general, but I can tell you about Iran, it is a place where the authenticity in the people, in the place, is still basically intact. If we think from the theoretical point of view and the life cycle of the destination, we can say that Iran basically it is a destination that is still at his origin. So everything is still very, very authentic. Plus, as you know, the image of Iran in the West doesn't really encourage a travel there, which is a pity, because, as I was saying, the place is rich in nature, rich in cultural heritage, and in particular, what I call the human factor is actually amazing. The people of Iran, welcoming, very authentic, and actually in love, paradoxically, in love with the Western people.
Yeah, and I can definitely attest to this. I think there are two different parts of Iran. There is a political part. We don't really get involved in here because we're not really having a political session. But then there's a human part. And when it comes to tourism, specifically peace through tourism, the human part is that what we're promoting and what we want. And I can tell you out of my own experience, having traveled to Iran a number of times and represented, for instance, our international ICTP at one time at a handicraft trade show in Tehran. It's a wonderful experience, and people are curious. I can tell you, I had people lined up for an hour and a half on my stand, and I was there alone, to talk about the United States, or many wanted to know how to get a visa, but to talk about things. So I had elderly ladies coming up with cookies that they gave me. So it was a heartwarming experience. And Iran, when you look at authentic, is really a very good word, because you don't really find the Marriott hotels yet. It is more local. You may have a problem using a credit card, so you bring your cash. But once you're in Iran and you like food like I do, it's heaven. I remember I still love watermelon juice. It's one of my favorite. And the first time I ever drank watermelon juice was in Tehran on the streets, and it was wonderful. And so there is a lot more to Iran than the political picture many are painting these days. Now, tell us a little bit, what is there in Iran to see?
It's important that you pick the point of the political aspect, but because we always highlight this aspect. The International Institute for Peace Through Tourism is a non-political organization. So, as you were correctly said, when we talk about tourism, we talk about the people of the place, the authenticity of the place, and the encounter among people, the local community. With regard to what to see in Iran, this is another paradox that I live when I arrive there, because also in this sense we have the idea of this country sometimes like desertic countries, and I found there a place where there is snow, where there is a huge forest, the sea, the Caspian Sea, and then in the south, of course, the desert. I'm in love with Tehran personally, the city, but it's amazing. Shiraz, Isfahan. They used to say Isfahan is half of the world. So who visit Isfahan already visit half of the world. Also because Iran, let's remember, when we talk about Persia, so most of the civilizations, etc., they were in contact with these places, and still today, again, on the contrary of what we think in the West, it's important to say that different religions and different cultures live together there. But we can even talk not only about Catholics and Muslims, etc., but there are communities that still follow the archaic religion of the Zoroastrianism, and the cult of the fire, and still exists, and is not only tolerated, but is completely accepted, and obviously is one in Yazd, is a part of being UNESCO heritage, but it's one of the main places where the people go. It's amazing. It's a very beautiful experience. And me personally, exactly because I'm Italian, Iran is also interesting because it's the only place that I see that has the same glories of Rome. Actually, Romans, right, they could not enter Iran, Persia, and they were defeated. So it's also very interesting to see the things from this point of view. We have the idea of the Romans ruling on the all known world, and then you arrive there when there is a civilization that is more ancient than Rome, and that is as rich as the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire, and the Greek.
And Fabio, you said you loved Tehran, and Tehran is definitely a very vibrant city. Has its problems like pollution, I think, similar to what we experience in Los Angeles and Beijing and Bangkok. So the air is not always the cleanest air, but you can always escape to the mountains. And I know when I was there last time, this was maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, people were building apartments up in the mountains around Tehran. Did this progress, or a lot of people living up there now?
No, this obviously it is a big problem, and we are talking about megalopolis. So Tehran, I love Tehran. I used to call Tehran the city of blinding lights, because I don't know if you remember, but there are constantly lights, blinking and everywhere, and 24 hours per day, and it's amazing. It's amazing during the day. Is wonderful at night. I found Tehran a very romantic place and vibrant, as you say. The special element of Tehran for me is exactly the mix between this vibrant life that exists there, and still, anyway, the authenticity, as we were saying before, because the people still live in a way that, if I'm in Rome and I ask for an information, sometimes people, they're busy, they're their own life, etc., etc. In Tehran, this never happened. People eventually stop what they're doing, and they bring you to the place where you have to go. It's amazing. It's amazing. The problems, yeah, the pollution is one of the big problems. Sometimes Tehran, they announce in the radio and the television not to go out of the houses because of the pollution. It's true. And all around, as you were saying, there are the mountains, and all around on the north part, there are these mountains where the people, when they can, they try to go, even because they love nature, and every green space for them is a place for a picnic.
Yeah, and of course you can always escape the big city and experience the countryside, like the Caspian Sea is a wonderful place with nature, and Isfahan, and visit some of the other cities. Besides Tehran, what do you think, if someone only has limited time, they should see besides the capital city?
Well, I'm not one of the best person to answer this question, because I love all Iran. But for a person who has not so much time, they even more than Tehran, they used to suggest what they call the Golden Triangle: Isfahan, Yazd, and Shiraz, which is on the south of Tehran. But I can tell you, I know Iran from north, the Turkish area, Azeri area, Zanjan, on the other side, on the side of Afghanistan, the Lut Desert, the Caspian Sea, Tonekavon, Ramsar, that is very famous, where the Shah used to go on holiday, Terais, Mashhad. I know a lot of places. All of them are different, and all of them really are spectacular. So, but in the touristic normally the tourist guides would suggest you this golden triangle. So once again, Shiraz, Isfahan, and Yazd.
And it's important when we're talking about tourist guides. We had a number of tourist guides on our show, and we will again when we do our Heroes event. We're going to catch up with tourist guides in different parts of the world. And I think Iran is an important country when you travel to have a guide, because it's really hard to do it on your own unless you speak the language and you're familiar. You speak the language, by the way, Fabio?
I speak a very little Farsi. Plus, I have the privilege of going there, not as a tourist in reality. I was never there in holiday. I was always there for a reason of work with the IPT and meeting people of the universities and meeting people of different associations. So I never really need I have a lot of friends there, so I never really needed a guide because I have constant interaction with the locals.
But your friends are your guides, you know. Your friends are your guides,
yeah, exactly. No, and there is something fantastic that there is something that I love, and this is why I say this is a privilege. You eat in the houses of the local people, because they invite you for dinner, they invite you for lunch, etc. So the way I travel really give you the opportunity to experience 100% the destination. In any case, as we said since the beginning, there is still this big sense of authenticity. You have a constant contact with the population, because the population, when see you, they call it Khoreji, that is the foreigner, someone that is, but the word is like, is a foreigner, but someone is a little bit dumb, but is a bit lost, and they help you. So you have this constant, very authentic contact with them. And I can tell you my experience everywhere, not only in Tehran, also because they're not so much used to tourists. Okay, so when you arrive in a place and you show some curiosity and you show some interest, even in talking some words in Farsi, they invited you inside the shop. It already happened to me that having a workshop about how to make some cookies, some Iranian cookies, because I was in a pastry and certain point say, oh, I'm Italian. Italian, really? Come inside. They offer me chai, there's the tea. They show me how they make the cook. No, and so it is something that I traveled a lot. I never experienced something like this. As I said, Middle East in general is an amazing place to travel. Iran has this magic that is like this.
And talking about food, and you're Italian, and Italian is, you have some of the best food in the world. Every other restaurant here in Hawaii is Italian, but we only have one Iranian place. But Iranian food is good, isn't it?
He's amazing, yes. I can say this very good, yes. Well, some taste, but this is personal, of course. Some of the tastes are even too much, because they used to cook a lot of sheeps, a lot of a lot of meat, and some tastes are really for us are very strong. But then finally, if we think again about this, our grandmothers, they used to cook like this. Like, I find like places like Tehran or other cities, like make me remember the Italy that they show in the movies, like the Italy of the 1950s or so yes, it's a very big complete experience, also from the point of view of the food.
Yeah, and of course cultures are different in different countries, and some of the things I experienced in Iran are quite strange, but then again they may not be strange in the eyes of an Iranian. One of the well, maybe two of the experience I had, I found quite strange is when you go to a restaurant and you hear music and performers, they're only men, they're no women. What happened?
Yeah, well, as we were saying before, there is, well, for the work that we do, me, you, we are not involved or interested with the political part.
I mean this in a cultural sense. I don't mean it in a
life.
political sense.
No. There are singers, but they here the problem is that they cannot perform. Actually, not even like it's not like in Europe, like you have a pub with live music, for example. It's not exactly like this. If it's traditional music, yes, it's more accepted, but you don't have a rock band in the pubs, you know. This is not, and in particular, you don't have women singing, but this is something related more to the politics. But no. Culturally speaking, Persians have absolutely no issues with this.
No, and it's not only the singing. Even I remember when I went to someone's home who invited me, and the wife cooked, and it was absolutely wonderful. And they did have Persian rock music. They got it from a radio station on satellite from Los Angeles.
Exactly.
It wasn't available locally, and then there was also alcohol all of a sudden, so that wasn't an issue anymore. But the only thing what kind of triggered my curiosity, and you know, it's strange in a Western eye, the wife who did all the cooking, who went through all this work, she sat in the kitchen, while everyone else was sitting in the living room enjoying the dinner. So I you know, there's some things, and that is definitely not political because it's in your own home.
Yeah.
So
in this case, you eventually, this was a house of Muslim family, and this is quite normal, right, for but we have to remember that Iran originally is Persian, is not Arab, and the Muslims were a minority. So, for example, to me, I'm in Iran like almost 10 years. To me, this never happened. I know that sometimes can happen in the family that are traditional. For example, when you enter in a house and the woman cover herself with a hijab, this happen if the woman is Muslim, but not, this doesn't happen all the time. Which is not something necessary, which is not something bad. We have also to respect the belief of everyone, obviously. This is not a critique, but just to describe the country. So there is this big variety, as I was saying before, of religion. When they're outside, everyone is covered with the hijab because the law requires to cover yourself with the hijab, even if you are a tourist. And it's okay. So this is a rule, and you have to follow the rule. But then in the house, everyone do the things according to their own beliefs. So you can enter in the house where people cover themselves because they are Muslim, and you are a stranger. You don't belong to the family, so they follow their own tradition. There are other people that are not Muslim, and they act more naturally in a more relaxed way.
And unfortunately, Iran has been hit hard also with the COVID virus, and quite early, actually. Numbers were skyrocketing compared to other destinations on the same level as Italy went through back in 2020. What was enormous. How's the situation now with COVID? And is tourism open? Is it reopening? Are there plans? Do you know what the latest is?
In the reality, the commercial flights, they were. I was in Iran. A couple of months ago, and for 1 month, commercial flights they continued. The problem is that all the countries in the West they suggest not to go, and they still suggest not to go because the situation, unfortunately, indeed is critical. Me myself, I lost several friends for the COVID, And you have to consider that the situation there is that a situation that is already problematic by itself, but then there is this big limitation to drugs and the medicines that is related to the well, obviously, we said we don't want to talk about politics, but we're talking about this. It's necessary to say this, to the sanctions. So they do not have access to some of the medicine used for the COVID because of the sanctions. So
and that is exactly, Fabio, on a global scale. I think not only Iran is complaining about, many other countries, specifically in Africa, are complaining about that there is no equal access to vaccine and medication. If you look here in the United States, you find TV commercials everywhere. People get paid $100. You can win $1 million lottery, but please get vaccinated. We have enough vaccine. And then there are other countries where there isn't enough vaccine. There is not even enough, and that includes countries even like in the West, in Australia, that have issues with this. So it's not one world and one chance for everyone. Sometimes there are regions that have less chance than others. And that's what we've been working here at the World Tourism Network to point these type of issues out without getting internally political. It's a global issue specifically. And
it is what they call it the geopolitics of the vaccine, the geopolitics of COVID, where the vaccine is taken as a kind of a measure of power, no, of the countries. Anyway, we don't want to talk politics, but of course the problem is that then the normal people suffer about this.
It triggers down to the normal people, and that is sad. But the fun part is here, there is a cultural festival, what is not going to take place with people visiting in person yet, maybe next year, but virtually, and you're promoting it. Tell us a little bit more what you're planning.
Oh, yes. So as a special envoy in Iran for the IPT, and as a founder of the Iran chapter of this organization, well, actually 3 years ago almost, I had this idea of this festival, walking on the Tabiat Bridge. It is a wonderful place in Tehran, designed by a woman, an architect, Leila. It's a wonderful place. And this idea of the bridge, the walking on the bridge, bring to my mind this idea, which is bridging the day of International Day of Peace with the International Day of Tourism. So 21st of September, International Day of Peace, and International Day of Tourism on the 27th, and creating like this a symbolic bridge to link tourism and peace. And so the talking with Reza, with Lou, etc. In the end, this idea of the festival starting on 21 and ending, culminating on 27, was born, as I said, almost 3 years ago in reality, 2 years and a half. But then because of the COVID, we had to stop everything. And this year, anyway, I say, no, this year we have to do this. And this is, so the first edition of the Peace Through Tourism Festival, which is based in Iran, because it's promoted by the Iran chapter of the IPT, but it's an international event. We are going to have several days that are thematic. We have the first day on 21st, the opening session, but then we are going to have the day dedicated to museums, where we are going to discuss the role of the museums in the creation of a culture of peace through tourism. Then we have the day dedicated to women and tourism for peace. This is another thing that is good to say. There are several associations in Iran that are dedicated to the work of women in tourism. Women are a very important part of the a lot of them highly educated. So the society, the Iranian society, rely a lot and on women. And this is another thing that in the West we don't have this idea. What else? So yeah, many participants, many workshops. We are going to have for example, the workshop of the Iranian photographers of the National Geographic. They're going to show us like this hidden Iran. So the idea is this: having 1 week in which we talk under through several perspectives about tourism as a vehicle for peace. So the role of the museums, the role of the woman, so gender equality, the role of culture, identity. So this is the main idea.
That sounds really good, and we're going to help you to announce it also. So we're putting it up right now. So tomorrow, if you
I do appreciate. Thank you very much.
And if you go to worldtourismevents.com, you will see it listed among several other events we're bringing up for World Tourism Day, because it's all really around World Tourism Day. Where the first event we're organizing is for accessible tourism. That means our people that travel with a physical challenge or other challenges. We're going to have our heroes that we're recognizing at our World Tourism event. And then we're going to go into climate issues with Professor Jeffrey Lipman. So we're pleased to add also peace to it. So just go to worldtourismevents.com. And of course, you can always go to the IIPT website, what I believe is iipt.org. And you will find everything about the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism. It's the institute, it's run by Mr. Louis D'Amour. He lives in New York and has been doing this for a long time. He's a good friend, and we've helped him not only host a number of events. Actually, as I said, we took Louis to Iran back 7-8 years ago, and Louis and myself, we are the first Americans actually allowed to speak at the Iranian Hall of the People. And we spoke about tourism and peace in front of ministers, or they call them vice presidents of tourism. And so it was quite an experience. And it was on live TV and all over the place. So many people came up to us after this event. And Louis was definitely a major celebrity for a while in Iran. So we'll be happy to work with IIPT, with Fabio and Louis, to make this event in Iran, this cultural event, a success. But Fabio, anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to thank you once again, and I really hope that, well, this year is going to be an online event. So as you were saying, it's going to be announced in several channels, and everyone can follow the festival from all over the world. Now, I hope that for next year, this is going to be a hybrid event based on Iran, Tehran, Isfahan, north of Iran, etc. And is going to be a way to promote visiting and tourism in this beautiful place that is Iran.
And we are ready to go on a trip, literally anywhere, you know.
We're always
Get me out of here, wherever you are. But Fabio, it was wonderful to have you as a guest today. And for those that are watching us now live, this will repeat a number of times on all our platforms at eTopo News. And if you wanted to watch it again, just go to our YouTube channel or to livestream.com, livestream.travel, I'm sorry. And you will see this and many other events we had in the past. For those that are not member yet of the World Tourism Network, you should join us. Just put IIPT as an invitation code, and it's 3 months free. We don't charge you anything, and it's not breaking your bank after this either. I think our membership is about $90 a year, or you can pay $10 a month. So it's not really expensive, but it's well worth it. You will meet many people like Fabio, and you'll be part of everyone, and you can actually attend events like this and ask questions and make a difference. We have a lot of things we lobby for. Some of them may sound political in the world, but we feel they're important, like vaccination is one of them. So join us, go to WTN.travel, click on the join button. And so if you haven't done this yet, and you become one of us. But Fabio, thank you so much for attending.
Thank you once again. Thank you. Thank you all.
You have a nice evening in London. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, Thomas.